Reading aloud as a family is one of the great things you can do together. You can start reading to your child right away. As an infant, they will love listening to your voice and the way your voice changes as you read different things to them. And then you want to keep reading to them. You want to keep reading to them even when they learn to read on their own. Part of reading together is also that snuggle time. Let's sit together. Let's do something together. So it's a good idea to keep that going. Reading aloud is one of the single most important things that you can do to build knowledge required for them to have that reading success later on. So you want to make sure you're reading aloud together as often as possible. I'm going to show you some of my favorite read alouds for younger kids, and then I'm going to jump in to show you some chapter books that I really like to read aloud. So one of them I'm showing you is Nibbles the Book Monster. Nibbles likes to nibble his way through storybooks. See right here? It's even nibbled a hole right into this Goldilocks and Three Bears. And because he's done that, he changes the story. So in this book, he nibbles his way into all sorts of stories causing mischief. I'm a Dirty Dinosaur. This one you can't help but to read in a fun, sing-songy, maybe even rap song way, as the little dinosaur accidentally on purpose gets more and more mud on him and gets dirtier and dirtier. We have some phonics books to read as aloud. This gets them used to listening to words that sound the same, like Underpants for ants and Croc Gets a Shock. There's so many titles in this series, and look for our combined volumes. If you're looking to save a little bit of money, you can get several books in one binding, and that will save you some money there. Another one that's really fun to read aloud. It's just plain old silly. I say ooh, you say ah, and yes, you're right, that is a donkey with underpants on his head. So this is a book that encourages listening and waiting. As you're reading the story, the listener is required to say and do different things when they hear or see different things in the book. So that one's great for listening. Some chapter books. So your child may not be ready to read chapter books on their own yet, but you can read a chapter book that's 2 grade levels higher than what they read at independently. This is just going to fill their head with all sorts of knowledge and vocabulary that they wouldn't otherwise be able to get on their own, because you are in fact reading a book that's too hard for them to read independently. So we've got some beginner chapter books. These are great to read when they're too little to start, but then when they're ready to read a chapter book, these are perfect for them. So it's just the right amount, no more than 50 words on a page, limited vocabulary, Hey Jack and Billy B. Brown. Then Billy and the Mini Monsters. These are just silly stories to read together. Billy finds these little monsters in his sock drawer and they cause all sorts of mischief in his life. Extreme Adventures. This series is very much like the series I Survived, if that's something your child likes. So Sam Fox is the main character. In each book he finds himself in all sorts of peril and danger. This is a series that is about this creepy old hotel in this old town. The family moves to town, fixes it up, and the kids that are part of this family think that the guests are all a little strange. They don't just come from other countries. They actually, in fact, come from other planets. So it's a real fun sci-fi story. Bear Grylls. These are very much like the Magic Treehouse books, if you're familiar with those chapter books. These kids get their hands on a magical compass, and it takes them to various places and drops them there. And then Bear Grylls shows up, and he is their guide to help them get back home. This is The Cherry Pie Princess and the Adventures of Elfie Onion. So it takes some familiar fairy tales and pulls them into a new story. So these are a lot of fun to read because there's some familiar and some new. EJ12 is one of my favorite series of chapter books. EJ12 stands for Emma Jacks. She is a regular schoolgirl by normally, but sometimes she's called to be a secret agent. And the reason she was chosen to be a secret agent is because she's so good at math. So she's their #1 code cracker for the 12-year-old division. So she goes on all sorts of adventures as EJ12. Secret agent. We've also got the Secret Mermaid adventures, and we've got Fairy Unicorn adventures. So all sorts of things that you can read aloud to your kiddos. Enjoy reading together.